Welcome to today's edition of the Week in Business, where we share with you some of the major events in the world of business in Nigeria in the past week. I am Taiwo Akinawa. It's great to have you join us on the program today. To begin the event highlights for this week is the Petroleum Downstream Group of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce 2023 Annual Conference, which held at the Commerce House, Victoria Island, Lagos. The symposium themed regulations of the downstream oil and gas sector in a post-subsidy environment brought together industry leaders, experts, and stakeholders to discuss latest developments in the sector. The event, which had a resounding success, also saw a panel of discussion where participants shared their perspectives on the impact of the fuel subsidy removal on the operators of the downstream oil and gas sector, and thereafter award presentations. Take a look.
The Honorable Minister for Petroleum Gas, ably represented by Engineer Abel Igeye, the representative of the Port Authority, representatives of the core regulatory agency, the authority, representative of NIMASA, the panelists, the vice presidents, and their members of LCCI who are here present, including the DG. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the President, it's my pleasure to welcome you to this forum that is on the theme, regulations of the downstream oil and gas in a post-subsidy environment. And nearly 70 years after the discovery of crude oil in commercial quantity in Nigeria, Nigeria's oil and gas downstream sector is yet to develop the desired levels despite the recent enactment of the Petroleum Industry Act. The downstream sector of the oil and gas industry had the least foreign direct investment compared to midstream and upstream, and the reason for this is not far-fetched. The subsidy regime and illegal framework for the downstream sector generally repel investments. The Nigeria oil and gas downstream market size is expected to grow from 1 million barrels per day in 2023 to about 1.3 million barrels per day by 2028, at a compound annual growth rate of 3.5% during the forecast period of 2023 to 2028. However, the federal government has not shown a strong desire to have a well-established domestic refining industry that will drive the market during this forecast period.
Sense of responsibility, I stand before you today representing His Excellency, the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, to speak on your annual conference themed Regulations of the Downstream Oil and Gas Sector in a Post-Subsidy Environment. I will specifically be focusing on the challenges and opportunities associated with compressed natural gas as an option and its potential impact on the Nigeria economy. For years, the government has heavily subsidized the price of petroleum motor spirit, providing affordable energy sources to the masses. However, this subsidy-driven approach has proven unsustainable, draining our national resources and impeding the development of a self-sufficient energy sector. As a result, the government has taken the bold step of removing the subsidies, necessitating the exploration of alternative energy sources. The deregulation has had a major effect on the cost of goods and services, which has further highlighted the need for greater utilization and deeper penetration of natural gas in various forms to provide affordable and reliable energy for the country. One of the most promising alternative source of energy is compressed natural gas, which, as we know, is a cleaner and more environmentally friendly fuel, offering significant benefits in terms of reduced emission and improved air quality. Transitioning to CNG as a viable option in the downstream oil and gas sector can lead to a more sustainable and resilient economy.
In May 2023, on the 29th of May 2023, we had the now very famous statement that subsidy is gone. Here we are now, today in November 2023. And to kickstart the question, the very question is subsidy gone? If it is gone, what is the impact it has had on our industry? So I'll kickstart this discussion by posing a question, first of all, to Mrs. Akbani, as the chairman of DAPMA. I mean, we've heard, apart from the president saying that the subsidy is gone, even in the presentation of the Honorable Minister this afternoon, he indicated that the market has been fully deregulated. Now, I don't know, because I don't import fuel. You import fuel. I buy fuel from the filling stations. I see the price on the meter. So in some places it's reading 590, 615, 630, thereabout. Is that truly reflective of the market in which the subsidy is gone? Could you just give us an insight into those dynamics and what is happening?
Thank you very much. I'm sorry to disappoint you because it's difficult to answer that question. Is subsidy gone? Yes, I believe subsidy is gone. Are those prices reflective of deregulation? No, they are not reflective of deregulation. I don't see how you can have same price for 3-4 months in a deregulated economy that is dependent on imports. You're importing from global markets where the prices of oil change on a daily basis, if not hourly basis. The worst I would have expected to see is prices go up, prices come down. Then you know there's deregulation. But more importantly, that should be driven by demand and supply. You said we import. We don't import right now. NNPC imports.
Now to a major one, the 2023 CFA Institute Africa Investment Conference hosted by CFA Society Nigeria in partnership with CFA Institute, CFA Societies East Africa, Ghana, South Africa, and Mauritius. The 2-day event took place at a hotel, Victoria Island, Lagos, with the theme, The Emergence of Africa, a Rethink or a Restrategizing. It aimed to bring together leading investment professionals, policymakers, and industry experts to explore the immense potential of Africa as a desirable investment destination, and it did just that. In addition, panel sessions delved into the heart of Africa's transformation, examining the continent's strengths, challenges, and opportunities through a lens of innovation and strategic rethinking. And with delegates from across Africa and beyond in attendance, it was a great opportunity for participants to connect with the African investment community and explore the continent's exciting potential.
Welcome to 2023 CFA Institute Africa Investment Conference, hosted by CFA Society Nigeria in collaboration with our sister society. It is our utmost pleasure to stand before you all today as the president of CFA Society Nigeria, and I want to extend my warm welcome to each and every one of you. This conference marks a significant milestone in our collective pursuit of advancing the investment opportunities and driving sustainable growth across the African continent. As we gather here, we're joined by a diverse and dynamic group of professionals, policymakers, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who share a common vision to unlock the immense potential that the continent Africa holds. Africa, with its vibrant economies, rich resources, young and ambitious workforce, offers a wealth of untapped opportunities. Our goal over the next few days is to delve into these opportunities, engage in insightful discussions, and forge meaningful connections that will drive positive change and prosperity.
It's an honor to join these distinguished members of the CFA Institute and other eminent personalities today at this important African Investment Conference. We are very grateful to the organizers for this invitation, and for the opportunity to speak about investment opportunities in Lagos. To all who have traveled from far and near to be here today, I say welcome to a very vibrant city of Lagos, Nigeria's economic and cultural heartbeat. Welcome to Lagos, home of about 25 million energetic people, and were it to be a country, the 6th largest economy in Africa. Your choice of Lagos to host its investment conference is apt, and I think it's telepathic. It is apt because in Lagos, you have chosen a thriving metropolis that is blessed with limitless potential and set on a trajectory of growth and prosperity. It is telepathic because one of the core primary priorities of government of Lagos is to beam light on the investment opportunities of Lagos and to open up our great state to the investing world. Ladies and gentlemen, Lagos is already acknowledged as the startup investment destination in Africa. This growth reflects the investment we made in expanding the fiber optics infrastructure in the state and multiple capacity building platforms and incubation hubs that we have facilitated. Our city is teeming with innovative minds, and we are fostering an ecosystem that supports technology, startups, and entrepreneurships. The potential for groundbreaking solutions and partnerships is limitless, and we invite anyone that is interested to be part of this transformative wave. Our financial sector service is also an area where we welcome global investors. Lagos is already acknowledged as the financial capital center of Nigeria and indeed West Africa. As part of our plan to expand the global sphere, we recently inaugurated the Lagos International Financial Center Council. Through the LFIC, this council, we are providing incentives and services to global investors to stake a claim in our financial service sector through foreign direct and portfolio investment that are bound to yield enormous dividends.
It's my pleasure to be here. I thank you for the kind invitation I've been given to come and summarize in a short presentation what's the medium-term outlook of key African economies looks like. And I will be doing that in 3 parts. And the first part is to set the global context. We live in a global environment that now experiences shocks on a global scale. You have overlapping disruptions, overlapping shocks. You had the pandemic before it was over, then you have the Russia-Ukraine war. Before that's over, you now have the Israel-Hamas. And long before then, we had the global economic and financial meltdown. And we had a very quiet technological disruption from about 2011 to 2014 that saw global commodity prices collapse in the second half of 2014 and pushed a significant segment of the global economy into recession.
But how I got here is actually a very normal, ordinary story. And so let me share a few things with you. One, when I started out in business, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I did know I wanted to be successful and I wanted to make an impact. So I always subscribed to continuous learning. When I got into this business, I ended up here accidentally, and I didn't know the difference between a stock and a bond. And I will share with you that I essentially started as a secretary. I had a university education, but I didn't have a professional designation. And at my age, for women, there were no women in the business. Everybody around me who was great had a CFA charter. And so I signed up for the CFA charter. I failed my first exam. I had a 3-month-old baby, and I fell asleep in the exam. I had the best sleep ever and the most terrible outcome of the results. However, I picked myself up and wrote it again until I got all 3 levels. And that has made all the difference for my career. When I started in the business, I looked very young and I was a woman, and everybody across the table from me was a man and 25 to 30 years older, and I had no credibility. But when I put my card down and it had CFA behind my name, the conversation changed immediately. So that's the first thing. There are no shortcuts to being great. You have to be educated. You have to be qualified. You have to work hard.
In a world where collaboration and innovation drives success for women in business, it was yet another time of the year to network, learn, and connect at the Women in Business Initiative Summit 3.0 by FSDH. The summit, organized annually, saw this year's edition themed Women Winning Together, developing the female economy, and focused on 3 sectors of the women economy, viz. Entrepreneurship, and lifestyle and social impact. The event featured an array of accomplished women who have blazed the trails in entrepreneurship, excelled as entrepreneurs in corporate settings, and mastered the art of balancing work and life. Tell their stories, inspiring and providing valuable insights into what it takes to thrive in the 3 key areas for women in business and in beyond. Enjoy.
3 years ago, we established our Women in Business Initiative because we recognize the unique challenges faced by business women. And just speaking to some of you today, those challenges that we saw 3 years ago are still there this year. And I'm sure all of us know that with inflation, with exchange rates, the terrains are even a lot more difficult for businesses in general, and in particular for women entrepreneurs. But I'm sure that with the level of resilience that we have, women, we will succeed. Correct? I was about to say amen, but we will succeed even in the years to come, despite the challenges, because, in those challenges, our level of resilience is even, comes out even stronger. And we saw that some of the challenges faced by women business in accessing loans and finance were there then and are still there now. Since then, we have been on an unwavering journey to support these businesses and to enable the female economy at large. It's still a long journey for us, but small steps we have started and we will continue.
The case for a female-enabled economy is a business case. It's not a woman issue. Sometimes we think about these things as women coming together and just encouraging themselves. That's not what it is. And I'll give you some stats. But before the stats, I have a personal stake in ensuring that we have an enabled world. I usually would say because I have 3 goddaughters, but 2.5 months ago, God also gave me a daughter. And so the case for a female-enabled world is now my case. An enabled economy is not just a woman issue, but is also a fundamental business case. According to reports by the United Nations, Sub-Saharan Africa loses $95 billion because of inequality annually. According to the CFR Women and Foreign Policy Program's new digital report, growing economies through gender parity, which visualizes data from McKinsey, says Nigeria's GDP could grow by 23% if we had more women participating in the economy. 23%. Another report by McKinsey says women on the executive team of companies are more likely to succeed than when you have more men. It is estimated that companies with 3 women in senior management functions score higher in all dimensions of organizational performance. And 1 percentage point increase in female education raises the average level of GDP by 0.37%. These are all statistics. MasterCard says that women manage money better in developing economies. And I remember a story Dr. Joyce Banda told me last year. She had won the Nobel Prize in a tie with a man. And they gave her 50,000 and gave the man 50,000. She said the man, she then went to meet him and said, give me your 50,000, let me go and use it. The man said, of course not. They met a year later. By that time, she had built schools with the money. She was taking care of hundreds to thousands of kids. I said, oh, how are you? The man said, I'm fine. How are you? The man said, what did you do with your money? Oh, I built school level. And I said, I entered some shops, so I bought a few things, you know, to encourage myself for winning the award. But he said to her, I wish I gave you the money.
There's a study in the Harvard Business Review by a Professor Ben from Chicago University. And what he did was he put sensors on the arms of men and women working in KPMG, Goldman Sachs, all New York firms. And he told them to check in and check out in terms of the hours that they spent at work, the hours that they spent networking, and then submit their performance reviews to him. And he did this for 18 months. And what he found was that women were working the same hours as men in all of these firms that he studied. He also found that women were spending the same time networking as men, which I thought would be different, but it was the same. And he found out that women were also getting the same scores on performance reviews as men. However, the women were not getting promoted the same as men. So I always remember that study when I'm speaking to audiences of women, because sometimes I feel that even though you're performing at the same level, there is an intrinsic bias that doesn't allow women to be seen as leaders, because you've got to look like a leader. And in the mind of most people that are making those promotion decisions, a leader still looks like a man.
Entrepreneurship is you running your career like your career is a business, all right? I read a book maybe about 10, 15 years ago when I first started out my career. And the book was called Brand You 50. It's a bit of an old book. If you can find it on Amazon, or if you can find it around, read it. Brand You 50. He also had another book called Project 50, and it was written by Tom Peters. And the concept of what he wrote really influenced me, whereby he spoke about you being your own brand. So whenever you show up for a company, it's like the company has hired a consultant. You are the consultant. You're an independent contractor. And then you embody the mindset that she shared, whereas you embody the mindset of, okay, what am I delivering here in the time that I'm here? What are the things that I want to do? What am I adding to my own portfolio? Because when I go to the next company, I'm taking that portfolio along with me, right? And I think that mindset is the mindset that brings ownership, because some people are not going to naturally be owners of what they don't own. They'll say, I beg, it's not my father's business. Do you understand?
And that'll be all for the event highlight on the Week in Business for the week. But before we go, let's take a look at the events happening next week. For more business, finance, and economic content, follow us on all our social media platforms at WebTVNigeria and visit our website www.poshare.co. Thank you once again for watching. I am Taiwo Akinawo. Till next week, Enjoy the rest of your weekend and have a fantastic week and month ahead.